my early days on LinkedIn were like when you wake up in the middle of the night, and I don't know if you've ever had this where somebody moves some of the furniture when you were asleep. Sometimes my son will wake up in the middle of the night and he'll leave something somewhere, or my husband will move something and it's not where you expect it. So you wake up in the middle of the night for whatever reason, right? To get some water or something, and you don't want to turn on the lights, and you walk around and boom, you're like, oh my gosh, I just stubbed my toe. And then you kind of freak out. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Nothing is where I think it's going to be. And maybe you're trying to get to the light switch, but what if the light switch was moved and you can't really get to it? That's what LinkedIn felt like for me. And so I'm going to share with you a post that I wrote just a few days ago. And this is May 2025. And I've been really doing some reflecting on my past 2 years on LinkedIn. So I've been on LinkedIn longer, but not actively posting except for the past couple of years. And when I first came, it was, let's say, hard, interesting. It didn't connect, but I knew that I wanted to be there. I knew that LinkedIn was the thing for me because I was thinking about what my next steps were in my own life. And you might be thinking the same thing too, or maybe you post there all the time, but you don't really like it. Or maybe you just haven't made that jump into it. And the reason why I was on it was because I knew that I wanted to do what my next step was. I didn't quite know exactly what it totally was, but I knew the visibility and the connection, and I know that I needed to start talking about myself, and I also wanted to work on my writing. 2 years ago, I would have never said I was good at writing. I would have said I was horrible at writing, unless it was instructional writing. See, hey, my name's Trisha Edwards, and I have been a fashion designer for, I guess, about half of my adult career life, I guess. And I've also been in higher education as a professor and a director, and mentored thousands of students as well as taught classes. And I've always been around something creative, but I've also always been around people who are creative, who don't think that they are. They don't consider themselves creative, but they are super creative. Just their creativity looks differently. And so I do have this big dream of building some kind of creative collective of people who are creators or appreciators of creativity, and making things, creating things, building things, inventing things. But one of the things that happens is we have to be able to put our voice out there. And so many of us who have come from corporate or organization or structured worlds into something like LinkedIn, all of a sudden we're just like, what? Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. This is like the wild, wild west out here. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's yelling. I don't know who my audience is. Even though you might know who your ideal person is that you want to talk to, you don't really know them. Not in the sense of when you're at your job, you know exactly who your audience is. You know the things that'll land, the things that won't land. You just know these people, right? You have some kind of framework and protocol for how you organize things and present things. There rules, I guess, for kind of a better way, even if you break the rules. And on LinkedIn, it's kind of all over the place. And then you have a whole bunch of people who are trying to give you guidance. And not all of them understand you because they think you want to start a business. And maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to get your voice out there and see, I wonder what could be open. And maybe you have no idea. Maybe that's going to be an advisor for another organization. Maybe it's paid or unpaid. Maybe it's sitting on a board. Maybe it's doing some keynote speaking. Maybe it's getting on a podcast. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you don't even know. You just know that you need to build up your visibility because it's going to help you what you're already doing. So you go there and people are like, you need to have growth and you need to do this and you need to do that. And you get all this advice and you're just like, it's so much. And some of it doesn't even land with you. And you're like, but wait a minute, that's not what I'm doing. And I think there's a lot of people who come to LinkedIn who are like that to post, because I know a lot of people like that. I have people in my world, people that I've worked with, but just people I know. I was one of them. I wasn't first coming to sell anything. I was there to show up, and it was hard to get some guidance. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my time here. I've been doing this reflecting on LinkedIn. So I'm going to read you a post that, let's see, I think it was on the 21st of May, 2025. The lights are off and you're trying to feel your way, but it's like someone's been rearranging. The early days of posting on LinkedIn. My confidence was misplaced. My knowing was shadowed. My self-trust was missing. It literally felt like someone rearranged all I knew about yourself. Bumping into things, snagging my ego, nicking my way of showing up. And so your body tenses. You inhale, but forget to exhale. Suddenly, every step feels uncertain. That's what it's like for so many of us when we try to write a LinkedIn post. We came from spaces where communication was defined. Me too. Corporate, higher ed, PTA. Oh yeah, I was PTA president for 2 years. And I have been actively involved in PTA. My son is in middle school. Since preschool, I've been active. There were protocols. You knew which phrases would land. You knew who your audience was. You knew what would pass review and what wouldn't. And I always think about that. Like, yeah, I always knew how to, like, this one's going to be a hard one to sell. So I know how to talk about it. I know how to build it up. But, coming to LinkedIn, I have no idea. And a lot of the people that I truly talk to, and I know that because later on, I'll get messages from them. They won't be public comments. And sometimes I'll see them in real life and then they'll share with something. Or I'll find out from a friend of a friend of a friend sort of thing. They normally are, for all purposes, invisible on LinkedIn. Those are the ones that I talk to. So I don't even know, what really lands sometimes until I get that feedback. Because a lot of the people who comment on your stuff, they're other creators looking to hack the algorithm so they get more visibility so that their posts. So it's totally freaking skewed when you come here. And I used to do that too. But now I don't. Now I comment where I actually feel resonance with something. It's where it has to feel good for me. Even if there's somebody that I love and adore there as a creator, if their post doesn't have something for me to contribute, to add, to reflect on, to congratulate, to appreciate, whatever it is, I just like it and I move on. And so, I wish there was actually more of that. We would cut down on so much noise if that was the case, but it's not. This is the LinkedIn way, the way we live. So, here you go. So going through these protocols, you knew which phrases would land. You knew who your audience was. You knew what would pass review and what wouldn't. Your job likely required writing, reports, emails, memos, presentations, but they had a format, a purpose, a tone, a hierarchy, the language of your organization. Then you stepped into LinkedIn, and it's like stepping out into the jungle. There are no real rules, just a sea of suggestions. And some of those suggestions are quite loud and demanding. Everyone's shouting their must-haves. Use a hook, these visuals, tell a story, value over volume, post consistently, use this framework, that CTA, this algorithm hack. I have a giant list of these that I made one day. I was like, these are all the things that people told me I had to have. And I can tell you almost all of them you don't need. And, and I guess it also depends, what are you trying to accomplish here on LinkedIn? And there's such a targeted way that you can do things that you don't, oh my gosh, it's exhausting thinking about the list. So I'm just going to move on. You don't need all of it. A lot of it is just noise. And sometimes I think of it as just noise so somebody can sell you something. But maybe not. It's not just content. It's noise. And your nervous system notices even if you don't. What happens next isn't laziness or procrastination. It's dysregulation. Only we don't call it that. We say, I just want to make sure it's clear. I need to think about how this might land. I don't want to overstep. I'm still figuring out my voice. And those might cause you to post while feeling fear, or you might not post at all. These are all mine, by the way. And I have another laundry list of these from people that I've talked to, that I've worked with. I never thought I was setting out to help people on LinkedIn, but I do know that one of my big missions is to help people to be able to creatively express. And when I say creatively, maybe it's not just creatively. Maybe it's just expression. I think that's what we're all here on earth to do, is to express our views, our self, our thoughts, just our way of being. And because there's somebody out there who's going to benefit from that, but only when it's like really authentic and everything. And when I started looking at all the people that I've actually worked with, whether it was paid or unpaid, because I do a little bit of both sometimes, especially when I'm in the middle of learning something, I will find some volunteers. Normally they're people that I know in some way, maybe not a lot, but some way. And it's when I'm trying out something new. And gosh darn, whenever I say, well, I'm working on this, like when I first was getting certified in nervous system regulation, it's something that I've been familiar with for a long time because my son needed it. My son is going to be, he's going to be 13 this year, and he's needed it since he was 1 years old. And it's something that I had been doing with myself. And then I got certified, which helped me to really hone in and make sense and be able to, use it more effectively. I got some volunteers so that I could play around with it and see what would happen. Try this, try that, And it was the same thing when I first started studying human design. I've been doing that for, about a year and a half, intensely studying human design. And I've worked with some people that, so that I could have a real person that I knew that I could do it with. And I've also done it as in paid situations too. And now anytime I work with somebody, I merge all of this together along with my creative thinking. But I always, whatever it is that we're going to do, I always ask them, let's put a flavor to it. Let's give it some definition. What's the area of your life that you would, like to work on? Because I think that really helps us to understand. And it's always business. And then it comes down to more than just business. Most of the people, it comes down to, I don't know how to express myself for business. I feel like I'm saying what everybody else told me to say, and I feel like a robot, and it's not authentic to me, and I've created this thing and I don't even like it. How do I stop doing this? I can't get out of this loop. And so it's really this is one of the reasons why I've been talking about it in all the things that I do, but in this frame of being on LinkedIn. So, but underneath the logic is a body in protection mode. And for someone who's always been the one with the plan, the one who drives the projects forward, this stuckness can feel especially strange. Ha! That was me, so me, and many people I know, and maybe it's you too. Maybe that's why you're still watching this video. Because here, you're on your own. And here, I'm meaning LinkedIn. You're on your own. There's no team to align with. No corporate filter to guide you. No approval chain to navigate. It's just you. Even though you might have a coach, you might be in a group program, it's not the same as when you work in a team in a corporate or organization's setting. It's just different. So it's just you. And your nervous system says, wait, we don't know this path. Let's pause. Let's stay quiet. Let's not move. The key to balance your whole self before you post. You got to balance your mind. And there's a lot of mindset hacks out there and how you got to reframe and reshape and just go for it. If you leave your body and soul behind, you're not going to get very far. This is about bringing forward everything. Feel the resonance of your words. First, you first, then your audience. It's the beginning of a new era on LinkedIn. And if you're, well, I won't read the call to action here because I actually already have it out there. It's a little bit of older one. There is a new era on LinkedIn, and it's not just LinkedIn. It's actually everywhere. I'm seeing it. I hear people talk about it. It's something I've been seeing for over 10 years. I saw it before I even came to LinkedIn that this is the direction that we're moving into. And you have to be able to uncover your own expression. That's for sure what this is about. And it's about balancing your whole self, your mind, your body, your soul, before you do anything. Because if it doesn't resonate with you, you just build something that's misaligned. Either you're going to attract the wrong people who you don't like working with and you want to burn your business down, or you're not going to attract anybody because you're just not feeling it. So I created this thing called Before You Post. If you're interested, I'll put some details down. It's a stepping stone to moving forward with this. But if not, hey, I'm on LinkedIn Monday through Friday most weeks, sometimes Saturday and Sunday. Some weeks I take off because that's my rhythm. Everything resonates with me first in anything that I do. Otherwise, I don't do it because I want to be a participant in everything that I do. But if you are want to connect, go over to LinkedIn. Shoot me a connection request. Tell me that you watch this video and you're like, hey, yeah, I want to connect with you, or give me a follow and you can consume my content. You can subscribe here. I'll put a whole bunch of things down in the comments. If you're still here, you're still watching this, you probably want to connect. So I'm going to put some things down in the, not the comments, the description.